Hello and welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us to close out the week on this Thursday afternoon. I want to thank everybody for watching with us, whether you're watching on YouTube, Centex Sports TV / Centex Sports Network over on YouTube, or if you are watching with us on our Facebook, Centex Sports Network. You can also watch and catch all of this content on our website, centexsportsnetwork.com. That is centexsportsnetwork.com. You can go on there and get subscribed for free. On YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. Also share and like this stream, as we got a fun episode planned for you here today on Centex Primetime. We got a lot to talk about as the NFL preseason is finally here. Finally here for NFL preseason. Starts in about 30 minutes, actually, as the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts will start off and kick off our preseason for us. We got a couple other games, Cincinnati versus Philly tonight as well, and they'll close it out tonight with Vegas versus Seattle. This is all preseason action, but if you guys are like me, you definitely are ready to watch some football. I can't wait to be able to see this. We'll talk about the Colts a little bit later on in the show, as they're in the middle of a QB battle right now, trying to decide who are they going to play at their QB. I think both quarterbacks might be in action tonight, so give us some more storylines on what to watch. Like I said, that game coming on in about 30 minutes. We're going to go through and take a quick look at Baylor's schedule, Baylor football schedule, break down a couple of these games, see if we can get all the way through the schedule and give you guys just a quick outlook on what I think about Baylor's schedule this year. Ranked one of the hardest in the country, and I think ranked the hardest in the Big 12. So we'll take a look at their schedule and talk about that. We'll talk about what's going on around the world of NFL training camp / NFL preseason. We've got guys that have got hurt already, unfortunately, this early in the training camp. We'll talk about some quick takes going on around the world of sports, as we do always. Folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. So let's get ready and let's lock in for today's episode. Where I want to start it, we've been talking about it all week long, the biggest news in preseason, maybe in preseason history, who knows. Shedur Sanders starting this Friday, taking on the Carolina Panthers. And his name has been, ringing more bells than usual, I guess you could say. They're trying to figure out what exactly are the Cleveland Browns doing. Do they want to start Shedur? Do they think the quarterback of the future is Shedur? Is this all a big setup? I've seen the question get posed that it's just one big setup for Shedur Sanders. The guy doesn't take any snaps with the first team whatsoever in training camp. Barely gets any reps whatsoever. With the first, second, third, fourth, whichever team, barely gets any reps. Now all of a sudden, getting forced out to be the starter. Now, like I said yesterday on the show, this is because of the injuries to Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett. I don't think they would have started Shedur just right off the rip this early. They showed no signs of doing that. Let's just start with that. They showed no signs of starting Shedur this early because, like I just said, he didn't get any reps in practice. Now, with the injury to Dillon Gabriel, with the injury to Kenny Pickett, the door opens up. Football's going football. The door opens up. Shedur gets his opportunity. Is he being set up? I can see that. I wouldn't be shocked by some people having that reaction, saying that he's getting set up and getting forced in there with the first team. But regardless of it, my point is, even if he is getting set up, he's got to go out here and perform. This is your dream. This is what you've been wanting to do, to come out here and be an NFL starting quarterback. It might only be preseason, and to some, preseason means nothing. But I've seen jobs won and lost in the preseason, especially at the quarterback position. Brought it up a few days ago. Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson. They brought Matt Flynn in to be the guy. Gets beat out in training camp. I think back to a couple of the rookies from last year. I'm not sure if Bo Nix was going to be their starter from day one, but after they get through training camp and through preseason, Bo Nix is the starter. So we don't know what could happen here. I still am of the mindset that Joe Flacco is going to be the starter, but somebody's going to get those second-team reps. Somebody's going to be the second quarterback on this team. Why not it be Shedur Sanders? I think he's the most talented in this room. Obviously, Joe Flacco probably throws a better ball at this point in his career. He's been playing for 150 years, so he should be able to throw a little bit better than a fifth-round rookie coming in. But as far as for that second team, why not it be Shedur? I think I know. I'm not going to say I think. I know he's more talented than Dillon Gabriel. I think he's more talented than Kenny Pickett, who's shown to be a journeyman so far. Why not him be the guy to get those second team reps? But now that you've got this opportunity to go out here with the first team, some of the first team, not all the first team is going to be playing. I had Wayne Walker on there yesterday, and we talked about should these guys not play in preseason. Obviously, I'm leaning towards his opinion, which was get these guys a quarter or so to go out here and play. And I think we're starting to see that tonight. The Cincinnati Bengals will be playing against the Eagles. The Bengals are playing some of their first team, as they should. For the last 3 or 4 years that Zach Taylor's been the head coach, they start 0-3 every single year is what it seems like. So, yeah, the guys, you need to play in preseason because something's happening to where they're not ready to play football in week 1. So they'll be playing some guys. I just talked about Indianapolis. They'll be playing their first team guys. They're going to be playing both quarterbacks tonight, I believe. This is a real deal QB battle going on in Indianapolis. So Shedur being a part of that, getting his first team reps with some of the first team guys out there, I think he's got to go out here, control the game. Talked a little bit about it yesterday on the show. This, Shanahan tree / Sean McVay tree, whichever one you want to call it, it's all really the same West Coast style of offense. Everybody just puts their different tweaks on it. They love quarterbacks that can run their system. When you think back to anybody that's played in this Shanahan system, in this Sean McVay system, in this West Coast offense, Sam Darnold in Minnesota. There's a reason they brought Joe Flacco back to Cleveland because 2 years ago when Cleveland went 11-5, Joe Flacco was able to run the offense. We think about Brock Purdy in San Francisco. All of these guys, they find guys, what the Rams were doing with Jared Goff. Matt Stafford is kind of the first one that breaks that mold of those guys that I'm talking about because Matt Stafford is a game changer, and I'll talk about him just a little bit later on in the show. Matt Stafford is more of a game-changer talent, but most of the time, these are game managers. And I know that's kind of gotten a negative connotation over the years, a game manager. A game manager is a $150, $200 million, $300 million quarterback in today's market. Just because somebody labeled you as a game manager and not a game changer, shout out to Cam Newton for starting that conversation about a year and some change ago. Nothing wrong with being labeled a game manager. Here's a news flash to some of the people that might have, not been paying attention. Tom Brady was a game manager for a majority of his career. Most people consider Tom Brady the GOAT. He's got 7 rings. It's hard to argue that. He's a game manager. He became more than a game manager later in his careers. And by later in his career, I mean like 35 plus. Maybe the last decade of his career is where he was more than a game manager. It didn't really matter what you did or who he had out there. Tom Brady was going to find a way to win football games. But that first 10 years of his career, man, the guy was a game manager. He broke out of that game manager role, I'll say, for the first time in 2008 when they go and get Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Aaron Hernandez, all these different guys out there playing at the same time. Yeah, it wasn't a game manager then. He threw for 50 touchdowns. But the majority of his career, he's a game manager. Nothing is wrong. We've somehow turned that into a negative. Somebody calls you a game manager, they're saying, oh, he sucks. No, there's only probably a few non-game managers in the league. Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. I mean, those Joe Burrow, those are your guys that aren't game managers. Everybody else really falls under that game manager role. Jalen Hurts, he just won a Super Bowl off of being that. I think that's what Shedur needs to do. That's the type of offense he's in. They're going to run the ball, and they want to set up the play action off of the run. Now, play action is not something that he did a lot of in college, but still, nonetheless, I expect Shedur to be able to adapt to that. Hopefully, they'll be able to have the running game. West Coast offense never works unless you can run the football. You got to be able to run the ball. Kevin Stefanski, his entire time at Cleveland, he's been able to run the ball because he's had Nick Chubb. He had Kareem Hunt for some time. But now that Chubb is gone, Kareem Hunt isn't even on the team. We thought he was going to rebound and with the couple of running backs that he drafted, and Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State won a national title, and then Dylan Sampson at Tennessee. Looks like it's just going to be Dylan Sampson because Judkins' availability is kind of up in the air. Got into some legal trouble. Not sure what the team is going to do with that. I guess we'll also be seeing that tomorrow. Is Quinshon Judkins going to be suspended, or how are they going to go about that? Hopefully they're able to get the run game going so that they can have something to work with, something to build off of if you're Shedur. You don't have to throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns in a preseason game. Probably only going to play the first half. What you do want to do is run the offense. Coaches believe in their system. If you can run their offense, then they'll give you the range to their offense, like Sam Darnold last year. Sam Darnold was just running that offense. They won 14 games, though, for Kevin O'Connell out there in Minnesota. This is a similar system. I'm not going to say that they're the same. It's a similar system. I'm not saying the Cleveland Browns are going to have similar success because they don't have a Justin Jefferson or a T.J. Hockenson or some of these other guys. They don't have a Brian Flores coaching up the defense. But they do have guys on this offense that I think can work and complement Shedur even in his first preseason game. Now, he won't be playing with the day one starters. He won't be – I'm sure Judy probably won't be out there. David Njoku, guys like this that really mean a lot to it. But a lot of their offense is unproven. So I expect some of those guys to be out there. A lot of these guys still trying to earn time, still trying to earn a spot on this team. The whole running back group should play in tomorrow's game. So, I mean, as far as him being set up, I wouldn't go as far to say Shedur is being set up. But whatever's happening, whether he's being set up or if this just circumstances that have him thrown into this role, he's got to go out there and perform. And as I said yesterday on the show, I haven't seen him fold under pressure yet. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying I haven't seen it yet. So what do I expect him to do? I expect him to go out there and have a good game in his first game to start. This is going to be the most watched preseason game ever. This preseason game, if Joe Flacco's a day one starter, this preseason game is going to be more watched than week one when the Browns kick off their season in 3 or 4 weeks. So I know all of you guys will be watching. I'll definitely be tuned into that one as well. Folks, I want to play an interview a chance that we got to sit down with the very, very special guest at Big 12 Media Day. Last week, we debuted some of our interviews on the show with guys like Rick George, athletic director of Colorado. That interview still getting a lot of views right now up on our YouTube. Go out and check that out if you haven't already. Played our interview with DJ McKinney, Big 12 All-American, the preseason Big 12 All-American cornerback from Colorado as well. That's up on our YouTube. But I want to play another one. Me and Rocky got a chance to sit down with a special guest, Mr. Ro Parrish, a guy that's worked everywhere, man. You've seen this guy everywhere. He's been a sports anchor on WSAV, on NBC. He's contributed on BET before, the Dallas Cowboys, Eye Opener TV. He earned an Emmy Award as a host for Mavs Insider on Fox Sports Southwest. He's worked on NBA TV. He talks a lot in this interview about his close relationship with Coach Prime, Coach Deion Sanders. So, man, it's a super, super good interview. Hope you guys are ready for this one here with Ro Parrish. Gives out a lot of behind-the-scenes information as well. Talks about his journey and his story along the way. And then we close it out, of course, talking about some Dallas Cowboys stuff. We talk about a little bit about the Dallas Mavericks as well. He even talked a little bit about Bronny in this interview. So this is a really good interview, folks. Hope you guys are ready for this one. This is me and Rocky Miller sitting down with Ro Parrish at Big 12 Media Day. You go ahead and cue the video. Hello and welcome back into Centex Sports Network. Jalen Gillis still here live at Big 12 Media Day here at the Star in Frisco, Texas, joined by Rocky Miller. And we've got another special guest here at the table with us. Yeah, we got Mr. Ro Parrish in the building. A man that wears many hats, as we talked about here off the air, man. But what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming and stopping in and talking with us.
I'm coming over here to take over y'all interview, man. I'm coming, I'm dropping in. I got Big Neely from Colorado over here showing love. Already welcoming me in, like y'all rolling out the red carpet. I appreciate y'all for having me on.
No, sir, man, no problem, man. So tell us a little bit what you've been working on here as of late.
All right.
You said, a man of many hats.
Indeed. So I appreciate everybody. Number one. So hold up. This is audio, but this is also visual as well. So I'm looking at this camera right here. So this is what we're doing. The camera is right there. So this is what I've been doing. Just in case you don't know, world renowned, internationally known, but of course, locally accepted. Your man, Ro Parrish. You are now rocking with the best. You can catch me on CBS Texas in the mornings. Shouts out to Madison. Shouts out to Carmen, my lovely ladies, the first ladies of CBS in the morning. So that's where you can catch me. If you ain't seen me before, you might have seen me back in the day on NBA TV. You might have seen me on NFL Network. You might have seen me on ESPN. You might have seen me on 120 Sports. You might have seen me a lot of different places. You might have seen me on Fox Sports Southwest back in the day when I was doing my thing with the Dallas Mavericks. You know, you might have seen me DJing your favorite party somewhere in the Metroplex or somewhere else in the U.S. You never know where you might have seen me. Like, you might have seen me on social media. You might have seen me with Prime one time. You never know, but the chances are you have seen me somewhere.
Hey, you know, Ro, as you were explaining us where they could catch you, you really represent the culture in many different spaces.
All times.
And that's what I always appreciated about you. So what are you doing here at Big 12 Media Day?
Man, I had to pull up and show out. You know, I live right down the street right now, so I'm like, why don't I pull up and see what's going on at Big 12 Media Day? Because, you know, the first day is cool, but we all know why we're here. We all know why we're here. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it misconstrued. Everybody want to pull up to make sure they see and hear what Prime has to say on day 2. I mean, let's keep it above. I got love for the Big 12 and everybody that's here, TCU, Baylor, Oklahoma State. We can go down the list of all the teams here, but people want to hear what the absolute GOAT has to say when he steps in the building.
Hey, and speaking of Deion, have you been in contact with Deion while he's been on his sabbatical?
I'm going to pull up my phone right here, and not to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy.
I asked the question.
I'm going to be that guy for 1 second. Hold up. What is this, yesterday? Oh, here it is. So that's you can see what that says right there. And I just sent him a little something, and you see the response. So to answer your question, yes, I'm frequently now. I'm not gonna sit here and be that guy that fronts and be like, oh yeah, I talk to Prime every day. No. That's not the type of relationship that we have. I love Prime to life. He has done so much for me personally and professionally. So I respect our relationship, and I respect his position as head coach. He made that very clear for me a couple of years ago because I was asking him, I was like, Prime, we still going to be able to do this? He's like, dawg, I'm a head coach now. And I was like, you know what? Say less. I was at his crib, and we were hanging out for a second at the ranch, and we were just chopping it up. But no, Prime is my guy. Anything that Prime does, I am down with it 1,000%. I'll say this, I've never heard anybody that actually knows Prime, say a bad thing about him. Now, people on the outside, people going to talk all day. But anybody that, actually knows him, dog, I love when I see his former teammates. When I'm out somewhere, Prime, he might not be nowhere to be seen, but I might say, hey, my name is Ro Parrish. I work with Prime. And as soon as I say that name, as soon as I say it, their eyes light up, man. Prime is the best.
We have a contributor on Jalen's show and a good friend of mine, actually my best friend in my wedding, who comes on Jalen's show weekly by the name of Wayne Walker. He has a very close – they were in the same draft together. So and they also were former track guys as well. And so he has a very he's known Deion for 35 years. And that's the same thing he says about it. Yeah. He said if you know him, you'll love him. Right. All the stuff that you see in the media, things people say, that doesn't truly represent who he is as a man and who he in his true character. He's a showman for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But he's a much better person, is what they say.
No question. And I like what you said. He's a showman because I'll tell you this. I grew up idolizing Deion Sanders. Went to DeSoto High School. Shouts out to the Eagles in DeSoto. Yeah. And they called me Baby Deion. I'm wearing number 2. I had the headband around my neck. I had the bandana. I'm Prime. I played deep, all that. So when I got the opportunity to meet Deion a couple of different times, I was disappointed every time. And I'll tell you why. Because when I met him, I met Deion. I'm expecting to meet prime time.
Yeah,
and he'll tell you. I mean, he's talked about it on the documentary. Everybody knows prime time, but only few know Deion. So every time I saw him somewhere, it was a very secluded, recluse moment, and he was quiet. Hey, good to meet you. And I was like, dawg, where's the flash? But then later on in life, when I had the opportunity to basically audition on his show on Game Day Prime on NFL Network, I showed up. I showed out. I let that mouthpiece go, and he was like, oh, well, hold on. And then I was like, yeah, I'm from DeSoto. He's like, oh, you from the crib? Because at that time, he was living in Dallas and Cedar Hill. So he was like, oh, dog, no, you him. So after the show, I was like, hey, how you think it went? You think I'll get an invite back? He said, "Dog, whose name is on the show?" And if you don't know, the name of the show was Game Day Prime.
Yeah,
and the rest is history. I took that baton and he set me up, and I was the DJ on the show for 2 seasons before they changed things up, and then he came to start coaching. So you will not ever hear me ever say anything negative about Prime. I love that man to life.
No, absolutely.
Hey, and it's funny that Jalen is the host of Centex
Primetime. The influence never stops, man. The influence never stops, man. And I'm definitely glad that Deion is getting his flowers. I feel like I'm kind of in between 2 generations of the older generation who sees Primetime as the absolute GOAT, and the new guys who, they might think Justin Jefferson, whoever the new guy is now, that, he's the best player ever. So
right.
I'm glad to see him getting his flowers. Since we're talking about him, though, what do you think about the Buffs this year, the Colorado Buffs? This upcoming season, Shedur is gone,
yep.
Travis is gone,
yep.
A new crop of players are in. What do you think about this team, man, and what they can accomplish?
I mean, ultimately, we've seen even when Shedur was there, it came down to what the players in the trenches are going to do. Offensive line play, defensive line play. We saw the defense kind of turn the corner last season and start to make plays. And we also saw the offensive line come together. But now what's going to happen? Cash Cleveland leaves. He now plays for Texas Tech. That was the freshman center that came on late. He was amazing. And who's going to be your quarterback? You got Caden Salter. Number one, shouts out to Caden Salter. I played with his daddy, Kenneth Salter.
Okay.
I know his mama, Misty Salter. We all went to high school together. And I'm so elated to see Caden come to Colorado along with his brother as well. So you have the Salters there. And I sat next to Caden on the way back from the bowl game. That's another story for another day. and then you have Juju, who comes in, who was, on social media, handed the keys from Shedur, comes in as a highly touted recruit. He can do everything. We've seen him win. He has the swag. He has the game. But the question is, you have a true freshman versus a seasoned player who comes in. So who is going to actually take the reins at the quarterback position? I think once we discover who's going to take the reins at quarterback, we'll have a better idea of how the team is going to play. But, that Prime is always going to bring in the athletes. You have Marshall Faulk on the staff now as a Hall of Famer. You have Warren Sapp there. You have the tutelage of all these NFL veterans who have played at the highest level to instruct.
Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers. Gold Jacket boys. First ballot Hall of Famers. You have all this NFL experience on the coaching staff to give the knowledge to these young athletes.
As you talk about the quarterback situation, I have to ask you, you've been knowing Prime for so long, you probably knew, I don't think you can be friends with Prime without having some relationship or contact with his children. I just think he's that kind of guy. He's always been a hands-on father.
Right.
So you've probably known Shedur and Bucky and Shiloh and the girls for a while. How was it for you as a friend of the family to sit back and watch Shedur get passed over round after round?
Man,
in this past draft,
it was tough for me, and again, I'm always going to be extremely transparent. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know Shedur or Shiloh super well. I know them through their father. Now, let me just veer to the side for a quick second. So the first time I hung out with Prime, and I say hung out loosely, I came to the school that he had, and the first thing he did, this is after our audition, and we knew each other from working on the show. I go to meet him at the school just to, catch up. And, the first thing he does to me, he walks me into school and he points me right at Shiloh. He said, "Talk to this dude. Talk to him, dog." And he walks off. So Prime leaves me with Shiloh. Shiloh's probably in 8th grade. And, Shiloh always gives Prime problems. But the first time we really kick it, he leaves me with Shiloh just to talk to him. And Prime walks off. So I'm just left with Shiloh Shiloh doesn't know me from anybody, but I'm sitting there trying to talk to Shiloh like, man, what's going on? But anyway, all that to be said, back to your original question, I absolutely hated to see what happened with Shedur. And I hated to see it on a professional level, but on a personal level, knowing the alpha male that Prime is and how he has basically turned everything that he's touched into gold. He's always done things his way, and there's a lot of people out there that don't like that. And he raised his kids to be God-fearing, to be confident, and not to ask nobody for nothing, to go and take things. Like, if you want it, go get it, go take it, show up and show out. And there are people, in my opinion, my words, in the establishment that saw that and they didn't like that. So they wanted to put Shedur in his place. And essentially, on that moment with the draft they did, however, as we've seen, as he's gotten to Cleveland, he's doing his thing. And I mean, he's in prime position, and I say prime position on purpose to, be the starter. Now, will he be the starter on opening day? We don't know. However, he is a very, very great shot to have that starter, that QB1 title right next to his name.
The thing that has impressed me, Ro, is that even though it was tough for me as a Prime fan and as a Shedur fan, and to be honest with you, as a fan of the Sanders family, to watch what happened that weekend.
Right.
But I'm even a bigger fan now because I saw how the family and I saw how Shedur responded to what was a really a public humiliation attempt.
Absolutely. Right.
And I'm just so ecstatic with the class and dignity that everybody in the Sanders camp has responded with. There's been no crying.
Nope.
There's no begging. It's just work. And it's proven, in my opinion, that Shedur is going to show us what he's really made of and what we all knew as Colorado fans and Shedur fans.
Absolutely.
No,
listen, I have no doubt, and when it comes to his acumen on the field, off the field, and me and Prime have had private conversations about Shedur. I mean, I remember I was actually at the house moments before, well, probably a couple of days before they actually made the announcement that Shedur was going to join him at Jackson State. Because as you know, before he had committed to, Florida International?
FIU. Yeah.
He had committed to Florida International. And, this is when I was living in Atlanta, and I was, at times driving from Atlanta to Dallas. So I would be like, hey, Prime, I'm about to pull up at the crib. I'm going to stop through. So we would, have these conversations. He's like, dog, this is going to be the first time in over 50 years a head coach in college football is going to have his son playing with him at the quarterback position. And just to hear him tell me that before the masses knew, I was just like, dog, that is amazing. It's one thing for, a coach to have his son, but we're talking about Prime here. We're talking about Deion Sanders, number 21 in your program, that did his thing, first ballot Hall of Fame. We can go down the list. The man really needs no introduction. But when you have a player that has the skill set of Shedur. And the other thing was, in that conversation, he was like, no, he's been working out with Brady. Now, we've all seen the video now, and it's commonplace, but this is before everybody knew. He was like, dog, he set that up. I didn't have nothing to do with that. I was like, wait, what? He was like, dog, they got in contact with each other via the DMs. Shedur set that up himself, went out to go work out with Tom Brady. Prime didn't have nothing to do with it. So that just shows you the type of character that Shedur has, wanting to be great, not having any problems with reaching out to the GOAT saying, I want to get better, show me how it's done, I will come to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, you've been very close to this, and I've said this on my podcast many times. Deion Sanders, coming from Fort Myers, as he
239, yep.
Fort Myers,
yep.
to where he is right now, playing professional football, playing at winning the Thorpe Award at Florida State, being a first-round draft pick for the Atlanta Falcons, winning 2 Super Bowls, one with the San Francisco 49ers and the Cowboys. Then his career in broadcast media, then parlaying that into what I consider a tremendous coaching career so far, off to a great start, and being a grade A, top-notch father to his children under what I would consider very difficult circumstances. I think it's the greatest sports story in America.
Wow.
What is your feelings about my opinion about that?
Wow, I've never looked at it like that, but now that you frame it like that, dog, it's
got to be up there, right?
So if and let me just step back and look at this objectively, because I'm thinking about other situations that might be similar. That when you have, number one, you think about the Manning family, who's I mean, they've done amazing things when you think about them.
Absolutely.
Who else can I come up with? I'm trying to think of families that have been together and have done things on this level.
To some degree, Steph and Dale Curry, just some degree like that.
That's a great comparison.
Yeah.
That's a great comparison. That's a great story as well. I'll say this. It has to be right up there. If not number one, it's right up there in 1A or 1B, if not number one itself. Because like you said, you broke it on down. The career, the resume, like the resume goes out the door when you talk about everything Prime did as a player. But then as a father, to come back And then to bring programs out of the dumps, programs that have been dormant for decades. When you talk about going somewhere like Trinity and winning state championships back to back to back, then you go to a Jackson State. You go there with the sonic boom and you turn things up and you make Jackson State relevant. You make people pay attention to HBCUs. You bring all the attention that allows HBCUs to receive multi-million-dollar contracts from networks so they get the exposure, not just for Jackson State, but for all HBCUs. Then you go to Colorado, who ain't done nothing since the 90s, and you turn them all the way up to where you bringing in revenue out the wazoo. You got people paying attention from coast to coast, even international. You got your sons there. You have one that is
2 sons.
Oh, I'm going somewhere. You got one son there that is the quarterback of the team. You got the other son there that is the quarterback of the defense, and you have another son there that is running the social media. So you have all these things happening, and shouts out to Bossy as well. She's doing her thing. Obviously, she left. But when you break all of this down, all of the layers, again, if it is not the best sports family story or however you want to frame it, it is right up there.
You left something out.
What did I leave out? Please tell me.
You left him recruiting the #1 player.
Oh, my bad. You know what? My bad. My bad, because I was keeping it right with family. But if you want to bring it because Travis is extended family.
Part of the, no. Part of the story.
You're absolutely right. I was framing it with just the Sanders last name. But if you factor in Travis Hunter, who basically Prime says is his extra son, I mean, you got to include that, dog.
Because he you know, that, in my opinion, is what he did to disrupt the marketplace in college athletics when he got Travis to go to Jackson State. Travis goes to Jackson State. He's promised to be a two-way player.
Right.
He gets a job in Colorado. He makes Travis a two-way player, being promises. And what does Travis do with the opportunity? He wins the Heisman Trophy.
Could have been he's the number
2 pick in the draft.
When you start writing these storylines out,
there's no writer, director, producer in Hollywood that's gonna write this story, man. Like let's keep it a buck. I mean, nobody's writing this story.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's a fictional story about somebody that we don't believe exists. Right, exactly. Nah, I mean, but Travis Hunter, and again, apologies for leaving him out. I shouldn't have left him out, but there are so many stories, and that is just the top. That's the headline. There are so many other young brothers and sisters that Prime has touched that work under him, whether it be his assistants, the training staff. There's so many people that he's touched individually, and he's helped them elevate so they can dominate.
And another aspect that I left out when I was saying it, like, he literally transformed sports media with Jackson State, what he did at Jackson State, and then carrying it to Colorado. Like I say, I just think it's the best American sports story ever. I just think if you know, I think what Archie did as a father, raising 2 top-notch 5-star blue-chip quarterbacks, no doubt. But I think it kind of stops right there.
You can say
Prime's story is so much bigger.
And the thing is, Prime's story is still being written.
Still going
now. It's still being written right now.
You can put a national championship at some point in this story.
You definitely could do that.
We're not gonna know how to act that happen. I'm just telling you now.
Don't let this man capture a national championship.
Oh, man.
Do not let. Hey, man, it's a wrap if that happens.
Change the trophy name, whatever it is over there. Change the name, whatever it is over there. Put Sanders on the end of it.
Man.
Road man, before we let you get out of here, I gotta ask you about the couple teams here in town, man.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Mavericks. I know you've had affiliation with both of those. We'll start with the Cowboys, man, since we're here at the Star.
Yep.
What are you thinking about them this upcoming season, man?
Ooh, man, this is a make or break year. Obviously, it's the first year for head coach Brian Schottenheimer. He comes in with the lineage and the legacy of Marty Schottenheimer follows him. Obviously, Schotty's been all over the place as far as the NFL, coaching at a very high level for a long time, but this is his first time to run the show. And he got the keys to the whip. What's he going to do with the whip?
Yeah.
You know, you got Dak coming back, which is crazy. He is the longest tenured Dallas Cowboy player right now. 10 years he's already been there. So the question is going to be now, you bring in Pickens, which gives him another weapon. Offensively, are they going to be able to keep up? I mean, this team still managed to win 7 games last season without their starter for the majority of the season. So offensively, they should be cool. Now, the offensive line, you got to figure some things out. You got the wall of Tyler there. You know, who's going to be able to come in and play. Offensively, we know they should be legit if everything checks out. Running game, there's still some questions there, but when you have CD, you got Pickens, and you have Dak, you should have an opportunity to score consistently offensively. The questions for me are mainly going to be on the defensive side. So I don't know what's going to happen with Micah Parsons' contract. Maybe I know something I don't. First things first.
He's going to get paid. That's what I know.
That's the thing. It's like, but when? When is he going to get paid?
Well, I say this. Jerry has historically, in these situations, waited to the very last minute.
Right.
And I don't think it's going to be any difference. I think, just to understanding the economy of the NFL, I think that first revenue check from the TV revenue check appears either mid-August or late August, and I suspect that some of that will be going.
Man, Jerry don't need to wait on a revenue check, man.
Thing.
He need to write that joint right now.
Listen, man.
That's the problem. Waiting too long. But
hey, waiting too long? Shouts out to my man Fat Joe. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
And he figured that out in real time. Could have signed him at the end of the season. Myles Garrett gets paid. All these other guys get paid. Now, yesterday's price is not today's price, for sure.
And to add on to that, T.J. Watt still ain't been signed yet. So I'm paying close attention to that. So once he gets signed, that's going to do, especially if they wait until T.J. Watt gets signed, that's going to do nothing but drive the price up even higher.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, Ro, you've been the interviewer, the highlight of our day, man.
Man, I appreciate that.
Sure.
That makes, hey, listen,
thanks for you coming on.
Hey, you always want to show up and leave something better than what you found it.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad I got to pull up. And by the way, Summer League's coming up. Talked about the Cowboys, but the Mavs. Looking forward to seeing Cooper Flag. The debut is Thursday night. Mavs, Lakers, I will be in the building.
Bronny versus Cooper Flag.
Bro, what? Man. I did not stutter nor stumble. I will be in the building.
Last year I got a chance to go out during Summer League. It is a fabulous time in Vegas that time of year.
Yes, it is.
It happens to usually be scorching hot that time of year.
You're not wrong.
That means that, but basketball's inside, and Vegas has plenty to do at night.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a bad time. Where can everybody find you, Ro?
Oh, okay.
On your social media handles and of course, anywhere else you want to point them to.
It's all the same on every social media platform, all connected, ROPARRISH, Ro Parrish, whether it be on social, on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, IG, Facebook. I'm not on the what's the other one? The Tiki-Taki. I'm not on that one.
Yeah.
Somebody's probably gonna steal my profile name, so I ain't gonna be able to get it anyway. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Or you know what? Pull up on me in person. Hey, I'm here all the time, and baby, like someone I know says, I ain't hard to find.
Absolutely, folks. Y'all heard it here first, man. Ro Parrish live from Big Tub Media Day here at the Star, man. We're gonna be right back here on Centex Sports Network. Stay tuned with us as we'll bring some more to you.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis.
So that was a great interview that myself and Rocky got a chance to sit down with the Ro Parrish. As you guys can see why he is a great TV personality, just a great personality in general, man. Shout out to Ro Parrish. Really just came by and gave us an interview just off the strength of us talking with Uncle Neely, man. So that whole experience was great, man. Ro gave us a lot of insight. Got a chance to look at Rocky's theory that I agree with, and that I've heard him pose to a couple of people that Deion Sanders is the greatest story in American sports. I mean, it's hard to deny it. As you guys just heard there on that interview, it's hard to deny that, man, when you lay out everything from where he came from to what he accomplished as a player, now what he's accomplishing as a coach, now what he's accomplishing as a father. It's hard to debate that whatsoever, man. Colorado, they've got a great season coming up, I feel like. Will it be as good as last season? I don't know. I can just be honest and say I don't know. Because, yes, I believe in the trenches, they are way better. Both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive side of the ball. The trenches have gotten better. But skill positions will be worse, in my opinion. Now, when we were on there with Uncle Neely, he said, we're going to be better because we're more deep at every position. And that very may well be true. But you don't lose to Travis Hunter and just get a lot better. You don't lose Shedur Sanders and just get a lot better. Not saying that they don't have guys that can step up. It'll just look different. I'm hoping Colorado can run the football this year with Mike Welch, with Price that I've seen been doing great in practice. I'm hoping they can I think it's going to look a little bit different. I think we'll see some more RPO. Either quarterback that he picks, Caden Salter or Juju Lewis, both more athletic than Shedur, so it's going to look a little bit different. Pass catching wise, we got to see what Omarion Miller is going to do. I think he's going to be the X. He's going to be the main guy. I believe, at least to start the season. But we've seen over the last couple of years times where Amarion has showed up and made huge plays and times where he didn't. So we'll have to see, can he remain consistent? Y'all know how I feel about Jalen Miller out of Saxe's, a Texas boy. I think he's a monster. I think he's just a guy, you just get him the football and he'll make plays. He showed it at times last year as a true freshman. Showed it at times, being able to be successful. And then, you're going to add in some of the transfer guys. The guy they brought in from Tulsa. They got the freshman Farrakhan that's supposed to be really good. Obviously, I love Quentin Gibson out of North Crowley. Anybody in Texas that watched Texas high school football last year should be a huge fan of his, seeing what he did, beating top-notch talent. That North Crowley run, I don't even know if North Crowley is going to be good again like that this year. That run that they had last year, I think, is going to go down and be considered an historical run, beating Duncanville, beating DeSoto, beating Westlake, beating South Lake Carroll. They beat powerhouses in 6A Division I. Quentin Gibson was a huge part of that, so I'm excited to see what he can do with that offense. Folks, we got to go and take a quick break. When we come back, got to take a look at this Baylor schedule, considered to be one of the toughest schedules in the entire nation. Got a couple more interviews lined up with you. We're going to look at the defensive side of the ball for the Baylor Bears. We're going to get a chance to sit down and talk with preseason All-American Keaton Thomas. And we'll also take a look at, get a chance to sit down and talk to one of the leaders of this Baylor defense, Jackie Marshall, that plays on that defensive line for Coach Aranda. So we're going to take a break. When we stay tuned and stay locked in, we'll be right back here on Centex Primetime.
And CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
Hello and welcome back into Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis still here on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Want to thank everybody for watching with us here today, not only today, but all week long. We've had a lot of fun up here on Centex Primetime this week. Getting closer and closer to kickoff time, folks, as the high school football season getting ready to start August 29th. Baylor is going to kick off their schedule August 29th. Colorado versus Georgia Tech is going to start August 29th. So we're just a couple of weeks away here I cannot wait. Preseason NFL football has just started right now. The Indianapolis Colts taking on the Baltimore Ravens right now on preseason. I think that's over on NFL Network. So we finally got some football. This is the last time we'll not have football. We're going to have football every single weekend from here till February now. Some type of football. I know everybody might not be a huge fan of the preseason, but we're getting some type of football. So I'm always happy whenever we can do that. Want to take a look, talk a little bit about some local topics here. First, the high school news. Texas Tech continues to spin the bag once again as they land the number one player in the 2027 class, number one player in the nation in the class of 2027, committed to Texas Tech over schools like Alabama and Georgia as well. I mean, that's something that you feel like you never hear. Somebody chooses Texas Tech over Georgia or Alabama. That's how it's getting now. Texas Tech is spinning the bag, y'all. And I'm not saying that this is all about the bag. He could have grew up loving Texas Tech, but I doubt it. This probably was influenced not only by the bag, but by the other guys that are going to be on the team, coming on to the team. LaDainian Guyton, number one player in the nation in the class of 2027. That means he's going into his junior year this year. It's a long time between right now and signing day of, December 2027. Long time in between that and now. So things can change. But as of right now, committed to Texas Tech. We talk a lot about NIL on this show, how it's changed college sports for the better, in my opinion. I never think it's going to be a good thing when somebody's making billions of dollars and the people doing all the work are making zero. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm glad that these guys are getting paid. Texas Tech has been a big advocate, proponent, poster child, whatever you want to call it, of the NIL deals because we've seen them take over in football, basketball, all the way to softball. The softball team made, record-breaking news by signing Najee Kennedy and giving her $1 million in NIL money. Now they gave her another $1 million and she's coming back again for this year. They got all the way from middle of the pack in the Big 12 in softball to the national championship game because they signed one player. Now they've gone out and signed multiple players using that NIL deal in softball. But we know what they're doing in football. Huge transfer portal class coming in, headlined by guys like David Bailey. We've seen Micah Hudson, who was the number one player in Texas a couple of years ago. He committed to there. Now they double down on that, getting LaDainian Guyton, the number one player in the class of 2027. So Texas Tech, man, keep spinning the bag. I'm happy for it. I love seeing these young guys getting paid. Hopefully they do the right things with the money. Now, everybody's not going to do the right thing. For all the people that hate on the NIL, man, these dudes out here buying chains and Lamborghinis. Okay, well, everybody's not going to do the right thing. The 18, 19 years old running into life-changing money. In some cases, generational money. They're not always going to make the right decision. But it's still their right that they get to make a decision with the money. It's better than eating noodles at the end of the day when you just played and scored 3 touchdowns in front of 120,000 fans. You play at Penn State or Ohio State, somewhere like that, and you got to go home and eat noodles. That don't make any sense. If the people in the press box and the coaches and everybody eating steak, they want to eat steak too. They're the ones playing. They're the ones getting hurt. They're the ones getting hit. So that's my stance on it, man. But shout out to Texas Tech for being able to bring in the number one player in the class of 2027. Want to take a quick look at this Baylor running back room. We're getting ready to go through some of Baylor's schedule and talk about some of the games they have coming up. This Baylor running back room is loaded, y'all. The receiver room obviously lost a lot of upperclassmen last year. Monterey Baldwin, Keytron Jackson, Hal Presley, all of these different guys that played. I would say Ashton Hawkins, but he's back on the team for a 6th year. They bring back Josh Cameron, who's their number one guy at receiver. They bring in a Michael Trigg, who, if he can stay healthy, I think will have a big part in this offense. But this entire offense is going to go through the running game. They like to run that zone running scheme, and it's perfect for running backs like Bryson Washington, who's a breakout star, who has a chance to be one of the best running backs in the nation this year as a sophomore. I already believe that he can be one of the best running backs in the nation as a sophomore. Bringing back Dawson Prendergrass, a guy that really surprised me last year. New dude could play. But, he really made some impressive plays last year for the Baylor Bears. I think had a standout season as well, backing him up. Those two guys are the main reason why guys like Richard Reese transferred. And I like Richard Reese. He came in what he did as a freshman out of Belleville, small county school here in Texas. I loved him, but, I mean, hey, there's only so many touches going around. You got two bell cows like Bryson Washington and Dawson Pendergrass. Now you're bringing in 3 4-star freshmen to go along with it when you talk about guys like Caden Knighton and Michael Turner that are coming in from this upcoming year's class. Can they step in and contribute as true freshmen? I love what Baylor's been able to do, man, and what they've been doing so far with this running back group. Getting a lot of attention, and that's why I kind of want to go into talk about their schedule. There's been a lot of talk about they've got the hardest schedule in the Big 12, according to some metrics. According to some metrics, they have one of the hardest schedules in the entire NCAA. Is that an excuse for Baylor? Should Baylor use that as, let's just get ready for another 6-6 season, 7-5 season? Absolutely not. They've got to go out, and the main focus has to be winning the Big 12. Now, you say college football playoffs, win the national championship. Everybody says that stuff at the beginning of the year. But realistic expectations has got to be for Baylor to go out and win this Big 12. You got Sawyer Robertson, best returning QB out of any Power 4 school. Really out of any school, period. Best returning QBR. We just talked about the running back room that's loaded. Yesterday, we talked about Josh Cameron. That's on the watch list for the Belendikoff Award. We talked about Michael Trigg, the transfer out of Ole Miss a couple of years ago at the tight end spot. The defense. We're going to talk about the defense in just a second. We're going to line up an interview we have with Keaton Thomas, also with Jackie Marshall as well. The defensive side of the ball is going to be fun to watch. Matthew Fobbs-White, the transfer pass rusher, I think is going to be really, really good for them. And Marion Winston, I think, can make a big impact in that front seven. Obviously, Keaton Thomas being named the preseason All-American for a reason. Had a breakout year last year. You get Travion Barnes, the transfer linebacker that led the nation. That was one of the top tacklers in the nation last year at FIU. You bring a guy like that into the fold. Unfortunately, DJ Turner, the big safety out of Northwestern that transferred over, is going to be out for the season, but he was going to bring a big impact to that. Still got guys like Devin Bobby and some other guys, but that front seven has got to play great for Baylor. The secondary is where I have the most questions for this Baylor team. How is Camden Jenkins going to play at corner? He's the best corner out there. Who's going to fill in those other spots? Who are we going to start at the star position? We're going to be Devin Bobby taking over that role. Are we going to see, there's a few different guys that could fill in at that role. Simpkins, who was hurt last year, could fill in for that role. So the DB room is really where I have the question marks at for this Baylor team. Everywhere else, I'm liking what I see so far. Both sides of the ball, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Dave Aranda, a guy that's name was on the hot seat last year for the Baylor Bears, especially after a 2-4 start. Turn that thing around quick. Won their last 6 games of the season. Let's take a look over at this Baylor Bears schedule real quick. Obviously, we all know it all starts August 29th. Auburn Tigers come into town, come to McLean Stadium to try to rebound from last year, what was a lackluster year for Auburn. They brought in a lot of big name guys into the season, or from the transfer portal. Cam Coleman was a standout last year as a true freshman. Obviously didn't get the recognition because Ryan Williams at Alabama, Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. But Cam Coleman is a dog as well. Now Eric Singleton coming into that wide receiver room from Georgia Tech to add along to it. Man, Auburn Tigers are going to be scary. This is no slouch coming in. I'd have felt more comfortable about this game last year if Baylor was playing Auburn than this year. With all that being said, you got to set the tone for the season. I understand that these guys are ready, and you'll hear when we play these interviews in a second, these guys are ready for August 29th. But you got to set the tone. The SEC is coming to McLean Stadium. This isn't just Auburn coming. This is the SEC coming. Everybody wants to compete against the SEC. It's the best conference in football. I'm a Big 12 fan. I love the Big 12. Been a Big 12 fan my whole life. I'm not a dummy, though. The SEC is the top conference in football. When a team like Auburn's coming into town, you got to try to set the tone for the whole season, and it will set the tone, whether that's good or bad. Auburn comes into the house and blows the doors off of Baylor. We're looking at a long season. We're looking at a long next few weeks. But if Baylor comes in and is competitive with Auburn, maybe Auburn wins the last second. Okay, there's still some confidence in that. Nothing wrong with losing to a team like Auburn, especially if they're good. They're bringing in, like I said, all these transfers. Jackson Arnold's leaving from Oklahoma, coming in to play quarterback there now. We stole their 4-star quarterback, freshman, Walker White, is a backup quarterback now for Baylor. But you got to come out and you got to set the tone against this SEC team, man. If Baylor could come out and win this game, that changes everything. And that should be the expectation for the Baylor Bears. And I'm not saying it like it's not. I know for a fact it is because I talked to these guys. It is a fact that they want to win against Auburn. I like Baylor, man. Maybe it's just a home cooking or whatever it is, playing on a Friday night. They're going to have the blackout game. I'm glad they're bringing back the blackout game. I attended one of the last blackout games. I'm sure they've had some in between. But the last blackout game that I can really remember, 2013, Baylor versus Oklahoma, I was at that game right near the sidelines. Matter of fact, I'm sitting right behind the end zone. That game was electric. I still somewhere, I think I might have gave it to my little sister or she stole it. Had the long sleeve blackout T-shirt from that game, Baylor versus Oklahoma. So with that being said, I'm picking Baylor week 1, man. Everybody was us, the SEC. They got Cam Coleman. They went and got Eric Singleton, Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold's got to show me. Now, I'm a fan of Jackson Arnold. He came out of Denton Ryan, I believe. Either Ryan or Guy, but I'm pretty sure he came out of Ryan. I like Jackson Arnold, but he's going to have to prove to me that he can be a really good quarterback in the SEC because last year he was in the SEC on Oklahoma, and I know that they had a lot of problems. Hey, a lot of those problems was because Jackson Arnold was playing quarterback. I'm just saying. Not saying he can't revamp. This is a new system. We see guys look completely different, especially in college football now with guys changing teams almost every single year. You can look completely different in this Auburn offense. I'm just saying I got to see it. If I got to look at the running back room, I like our running back room. If I got to look at the quarterback room, I'm picking Sawyer Robinson over Jackson Arnold 7 days of the week. So we're going to see, man. It's going to be a clash of the Titans, though, with these two teams on August 29th, 7 o'clock. Next week, right after that, September 6th, they got SMU. Now, I might have a little bit different sentiment on this one. Not saying that I'm not rooting for Baylor. I don't think Baylor can win. But to go up after just playing against the Auburn team, get on the road early morning, go to Dallas. It's not a far road trip. You still got to get on the road, though. Going to Dallas to play an SMU team that I think is on fire from last year still. Kevin Jennings is a problem. Kevin Jennings has been a problem since high school when he helped Sock get back to the state championship for the first time in a couple of decades. Kevin Jennings, along with that offense, I think is going to be electric once again. I really like their defense as well. They got one of the best safety duos. I'm going to pick SMU to win that game. After we get past week 1, my opinion could change. This is just off of right now. Obviously, I think Baylor's going to beat Samford. Not even going to spend time entertaining that one. But the week after that, week 4, at home, they host the Big 12 champs. Sam Levitt and the Arizona State will be in town coming to McLean. That's 2 huge games in the first 4 weeks that's going to be at McLean. First off, guys, I hope y'all getting your tickets ready. I know I'm going to try to be in the building for sure. But versus Arizona State and Sam Levitt, the battle of what I think probably the two of the top quarterbacks in the Big 12. I gave out my top 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12 a couple of days ago. I put Sam Levitt at 3. I had Sawyer Robinson at 1. I think Avery Johnson's the second best quarterback in the Big 12 right now. But these are 2 other best quarterbacks. I like Baylor in this game. I know Cam Scatterbull is gone from Arizona State, and I know they went and got another stud out the transfer portal to come in and replace him. But Cam Scatterbull doesn't look like, to me, just a guy that you can just replace. Yes, they got Jordan Tyson back at receiver, and he is going to be a monster. But I just got to see Sam Levitt without Cam Scatterbull. It's that simple. Kenny Dillingham is a good coach. They've added some guys on the defensive side of the ball as well. But I like Baylor in that one. After that week 5, they go to Oklahoma State. I like Baylor against Oklahoma State, even though they're playing in Stillwater. Shout out to Kenyatta Wright. We got to interview over football business personnel up there at Oklahoma State. But even though they're going to Stillwater, I got Baylor winning this one. Now, I still got nightmares about going to Stillwater. I went to the game where Bryce Petty fumbled on the 1-yard line in Stillwater. Still remember that. It was cold and rainy. I remember that as well. After that, they've got Kansas State. This is why they said Baylor's got one of the toughest schedules in the country. After that, they got Kansas State. The Wildcats coming to Waco once again. As y'all can see, I got a long history with Baylor. I was at the game that Baylor upset Kansas State when they were the number one team in the country. That was, man, a decade and some change ago. I'll stop telling my age in just a second. But a decade and some change ago when they got to play against Kansas State when they were the number one team in the country. Colin Klein, the quarterback, Jay Hubert, the running back. That was a former Midway Panther as well. I was at that game, man. But I like Baylor winning against Oklahoma State. Now, y'all are saying at this point, you just going to have Baylor beating everybody. Well, I think Baylor should beat most of these teams. They're going to lose one of either Arizona State or Kansas State. Let's give Baylor 2 losses. I think they'll lose either the Arizona State or the Kansas State. The week after that, TCU, which is starting to become a lot of people's sleepers, being led by Josh Hoover at the quarterback spot. Going to TCU, I always know that's tough. I've been to TCU also a couple of times when Baylor was playing. Been to a lot of Baylor games, if you guys can't tell. I've been to TCU a couple of times. It's hot. When you sit on the away side and that sun comes out and it's an 11 o'clock game, it's hot. That's all I can remember from going to TCU. But no, that's going to be a fun game. Baylor's biggest rival. I'm never going to pick TCU to beat Baylor, so y'all know I'm picking Baylor right there. That'll never happen. At Cincinnati, one of those games I call a trap game. When you come out of Kansas State, TCU back-to-back weeks, maybe you try to take your foot off the pedal a little bit. You go up to Cincinnati. They got a veteran QB coming in. I like Baylor in that game. They come back home against UCF. I like Baylor versus UCF. Baylor versus Utah at the end of the season. That is going to be a tough one, man. Obviously, we have no idea what either one of those teams are going to look like to that point. We're talking about football in October and November. We don't know what either one of those teams are going to look like. I know Utah's got some transfer QB, Dan Pierre, that came in from New Mexico State. I think they'll be able to do some really good things with him. But, man, I got Baylor over Utah. I know Utah beat Baylor last year. They had a 40-year-old playing quarterback. I'm not sold on Utah just yet. Can that change? Absolutely. But if we're just talking about my preseason predictions, I'm not completely sold on Utah just yet. I like Baylor in that game. Going to Arizona, I think another one of those trap type of games, man. If Baylor doesn't have their head on the swivel, they could very easily lose this game to Arizona. I don't expect Arizona to be that good. But when you got a really competent QB like Noah Fafita, anything is possible, and they're going on the road. It's the end of the season. Guys are beat up. Somebody's going to be hurt. I can see Baylor losing that game. Coming back home, final home game of the season against U of H, can't lose that one. I do think U of H will be better than they were last year. I know they lost A.J. Hossey and stuff and their star safety to LSU, lost some other guys as well. They got Connor Wigman. We'll figure out, was Connor Wigman a 5-star just because he was tall, or can the dude actually play? Haven't worked out so far at Texas A&M. Lost his spot to Marcel Reed, who I like a lot. Connor Wigman now at U of H. I expect U of H to be better. But at the end of the day, man, I still like Baylor in that game. They definitely should win against Houston. Oh, no, I only have Baylor catching a couple of losses in the season. Could that change? Yes. You know, I'm no wizard. I don't know what's going to happen. These are just my prognostications before we start the season. And I like this Baylor team. Not just because I'm a Baylor fan, because I think the team is well built. I like Dave Aranda as a coach. Dave Aranda won me over last year. I was very skeptical of Dave Aranda through the first 6 weeks of the season, as most people were. But they dug deep, found some type of heart, and turned the season around once they got to Texas Tech. One game I'm mad that they're not playing is, I love that Baylor versus Texas Tech rivalry as well. Mad they're not playing that one. It's usually in Cowboy Stadium every single year. Not doing it this year, though. But like I said, for all those reasons, I like Baylor, and I think Baylor should be right there in the Big 12 championship game when we get to November, December. Texas Tech is a contender. Kansas State's a contender. TCU's a contender. Arizona State's a contender. Baylor has got to be one of those names as well to be a contender once again. Folks, I want to switch over and show you guys a couple of interviews. We just showed you guys the Roe Parrish interview that we got a chance to do at Big 12 Media Day. But I want to give you guys an insight into why I'm so confident in not only this Baylor team, but this Baylor defense. It's because I got a chance to sit down and talk to these guys. And whatever part of me wasn't believing, they made me a believer after these interviews. They talked about the physicality that this defense wants to play with. See, those are the kind of words I like to hear. the physicality, the violence. I think they all said something about violence when talking about the defense. Here's an interview with myself, Rocky Miller, getting a chance to sit down with preseason All-American Keaton Thomas. Let's go ahead and roll the interview. Hello, and we're back here on Centex Sports Network. Jalen Gillis still here live from Big 12 Media Day, joined by Rocky Miller. Joining in on the set with us, we have a special guest, Mr. Keaton Thomas, in the building with us. Man, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just super thankful to be here. Thankful for you guys interviewing me, taking the time out of y'all's day, and ready to talk some ball.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, you were named a preseason All-American, man. That's a huge deal. But I know your family and friends are probably blowing you up seeing that kind of stuff, man. Talk about a little bit the expectation, not only for yourself, but for this defense coming in this year for Baylor.
Right, yeah, so expectation for myself, just want to be better. Obviously, in every aspect of the game, make sure to work on the little things that make up to the bigger things. So whether that's pass rush, coverage, taking good tackle angles, any of those things, I think it's just going to make myself a better player. For this defense, super excited. Just want to show that we are consistent, that we are who we say we are. And each week we can go out and put fear in our opponents' eyes and hearts and make a name for our team and a university as a defensive team who can stop the ball and when our name's called in the game.
Yes, sir. Coach Aranda is your head coach, and I know he has a big part on all the parts, but he's a defensive guy. Talk about his impact and what he expects out of you guys on the defensive side of the ball, being a defense-first-minded kind of coach.
Yeah, great question. Nothing but greatness. He expects nothing but greatness.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you step onto that field, it needs to be pure violence, pure grit, pure heart, hustle, and an intention to make your will known, make somebody feel your pain. So, but he's a genius. Like, he's been around the game for so long. He's put a lot of really good players in the league.
Yeah.
So, having that knowledge in your room and having somebody like that who's your coach, who's coaching you every day and telling you what to fix, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, it's awesome. It's phenomenal. It's one of those things to where you just, man, you got to thank God that you're in that position because you have somebody who's done it countless times and put, people in the league who are successful, not just in the league, right? They're dominating.
Yeah. No, man, you guys got everybody we've interviewed from the defense says violence is somewhere in their thing talking about defense. Y'all got me excited for the 29th, man. Go ahead, Mike.
Now Keaton, you wear those sticks, and that's what we call them here in Waco, because there's a guy that wore those sticks from Waco named, do you know who Derek Johnson is?
No, but the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was a linebacker that played for the University of Texas, won the Buckets Award. But if you do what he did at Texas this year, y'all probably going to win a national championship because he won every linebacker award, every defensive award when he was in college in 2004 or 5. I can't remember what year it was. But Derek was a tremendous linebacker from Waco, Texas. I was just wondering, did that 11 have some significance? Because I know he wore it as a linebacker. Also, Michael Parsons wore it for Penn State. And also, the Manimal, what's his name? LeVar Arrington.
LeVar Arrington.
Who wore it as well. So is that like a linebacker signature number that you have on there, or does it have some other special meaning to you?
Yeah, for me, so it was just something I switched to in JUCO. The number represents new beginnings. I love that. JUCO was one of those opportunities to where you either maximize it or you don't. It's football or nothing. And so I love that the number represented that. I think it represents me because it was just that time, a new phase of my life, a new opportunity. And so just wearing it, obviously sticks, they give you powers for sure. And so, but yeah, I love this number for sure.
Absolutely. Now, coming into this season with guys like yourself and also the talent that you guys have brought, added to your team, there are expectations not only for the offense but also for the defense, right? What would be this defense's calling card this year? What will y'all be known for once this season is over? What will the 2025 Baylor Bear defense be known for?
I want us to be known for extreme violence and extreme grit. Like when you see us, if the ball's thrown to the far side of the field, everybody's chasing, everybody's hitting. You're going to hear some pads clapping. We need some noise.
Okay. And the last question, this is a kind of a fun one. You from Florida, right? A little different vibe than Central Texas. But what's your favorite restaurant in Waco right now?
My favorite restaurant in Waco, like a sit down or fast food.
Whatever you like to eat, my brother.
If we're going fast food, it'll probably be Cane's because we don't have Cane's in Jacksonville. So yeah, I spam the Cane's. But if it's a sit down, Man, sit down. I don't even get a sit-down restaurant, to be honest with you. So I'll have to get back with you on that.
You like barbecue?
I like barbecue, but I have a take.
He from Florida,
Yeah,
man.
I'ma have a
They a little
take.
bit different on their barbecue.
My
and stuff,
barbecue,
man.
you know, I like my barbecue a little different. You know, I like it a little juicy, not a little dry.
Hey, I understand it. We've been asking everybody from the different hometown, man. What's your favorite? You from Florida, so favorite Florida rappers that you like to listen to. And then on the other side of that, he just asked about the meal. Go-to meal whenever you get back home to Florida that you know you got to go have.
Yeah. So favorite rapper from the city is gonna be Spot 'em, Got 'em, or
Okay.
Nardo Wick. Shout out Jacksonville. Go-to restaurant, it for sure has to be the Loop or Metro Diner.
Okay.
Both of those,
Okay.
like top breakfast spots, legit food, so good.
Man, well, we've been writing these down to see what everybody. We're gonna try these out and get back to y'all on the verdict. But Keaton, man, appreciate you coming over here talking with us for a little bit, man. And great season last year, and we expect another great season from you this upcoming season, man.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be back here, folks, on Centex Sports Network. Keaton Thomas for the Baylor Bears. We're looking forward to this upcoming season, man. We'll be back. Hello, welcome back into Centex Sports Network. Jalen Gillis still here live at the Big 12 Media Day, joined by Rocky Miller. We've got a special guest with us, one of the Baylor players, one of the leaders coming into this Baylor season, Mr. Jackie Marshall in the building with us. Jackie, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing much, man. So tell us a little bit about what can we expect this upcoming season from these Baylor Bears and from the defensive side like you play?
Yeah, I think, man, a whole lot of grit from this defense. We got some guys, and we got some guys in from the transfer portal, some experienced guys. Yeah, man, just ready. Some guys that's hungry. Like, I see a lot of hunger from this team, especially on the defensive side. Guys that want to work and want to get better, you know, getting extra work and all that type of stuff. So season come around, they're ready to roll.
Yeah, you guys got off to a little bit of a slow start last year, and you guys really, really kicked it up towards the end of that year, man, and finished out strong. What were those messages and those things that Coach Aranda and the rest of the staff were telling you guys to keep you engaged and ready to finish out the season strong?
Yeah, just finishing games, you know what I'm saying? In the past, we kind of looked at as teams that wouldn't finish the games, wouldn't start fast and come out strong. I think his big thing was like just being that team, like rewriting our narrative. You know what I mean? Like scratching that old stuff off and creating this new team, this new narrative. You know?
Yeah.
You know, DJ, Jackie, one of the things that I wanted to ask you is that you've been around here a while.
Yep.
You're an old timer now
Yeah.
at this place. And so what I want to ask you is two questions. One, how has being a college football changed since you entered college back in 21?
It changed drastically, man. Like especially with the NIL stuff going on now. I say it's pros and cons to it, you know. But just the atmosphere, like the younger guys coming in now, everything. It's a big change for sure.
And as a football player, I remember back when I was in college, we had the responsibility of just going to class and being a football player. Now it seems like there's an added pressure for guys to not only go to class, be a football player, but also establish a brand or even a business.
Right.
And how much of that is on your mind as you're going through college, especially the young guys that are just coming in? How much is that?
I think, man, like me personally, I try not to get too caught up into it because you can look at a younger guy coming in and he'll have a big name and all this stuff, but hasn't played it down in college ball. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of can make you feel some type of way because, like, you've been playing all this ball and nobody recognizes you and stuff. So me personally, I try to stay away from it, but it can get hard, you know, just seeing that type of stuff. Like, dang, like, why nobody know me, or, you know, things like that nature.
And you mentioned the NIL platform. As right now, as it sits, do you think the conversation is fair for what the guys are being given to play in college football, or is there room for improvement?
I do think it's fair. Like, I do think college athletes should get paid for what they're doing for their schools and stuff. I do think there should be some changes to it and some improvements going on, but I see that going on in years to come. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And the reason why I talk about it, because I believe that with coming into this season in particular and a couple previous seasons, a lot of the hype around NIL has given teams certain aspirations. And there's no way we can talk about potential of a team without without partnering with the money, the hype. So it's part of the business now. I know guys are, you know, and I kind of sense that this is something that you've tried to focus on football and you've tried to just become a better football player, but it's almost like a looming cloud over every program. You guys are getting paid now. The alumni, the fans are expecting you guys to perform, and what you guys, the compensation you guys are paid, are putting added expectations in my opinion. And so I admire you guys of how you guys are able to handle it, because I remember when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, if you put a little change in my hand, I don't know how focused I would be. Jackie, hey, Jackie, you may not see me in the weight room as much as so is it being focused in this time frame? Does it take a special guy to be focused and have the opportunities that you guys have?
Most def. It take a extreme focus. Like you said, like all this stuff going on, like we kids, you know, kids having all this type of money. You want to go spend money and do this. So I think it takes having somebody in your corner that can guide you through that space and that journey, you know, and to help you not just go splurge and spend money and do all this crazy stuff. It takes extreme focus to do that, you know?
No, for sure. And one thing I wanted to ask all the Baylor guys that we get on here, as a two-part question. One, you're from Louisiana, so I want to know your favorite Louisiana rapper. And then two, your favorite Baylor football player, former or current?
Ooh, favorite football player, okay. I say former, probably Petrie.
Okay.
Probably Petrie.
Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah, definitely dog. Definitely dog. And then favorite rapper from Louisiana, man, since you're from Louisiana, everybody loves y'all music nowadays. It's what it seems like.
Yeah, so I don't know. Some people may go, I go NBA Youngboy.
Okay, yeah. That's a safe answer. That's a safe answer.
I got a Louisiana favorite I want to know. As you can see by my physique, I like to eat, right?
Me too,
so check this here out, Jackie. My family is from Louisiana. They from Central Louisiana, Leesville. I have a sister that lives in Baton Rouge. And I love Louisiana cuisine. What's your favorite Louisiana dish?
Crawfish etouffee.
Oh, man, that's a winner, man.
That's a go-to. That's a go-to right there, man. So we appreciate you, Jackie, for coming on here and talking with us, man. Jackie Marshall, Baylor Bears, defensive lineman. You'll be able to see him every Saturday this coming up fall for the Baylor Bears. We'll be right back here on Centex Sports Network.
Yes, sir.
Hello, and we're back here on Centex Sports Network. Jalen Gillis still here live from Big. So guys got to see right there interview with two stars there for the Baylor defense. Mr. Jackie Marshall is who you heard from last. Guy that's going to mean a lot. That meant a lot to that defensive line last year. Definitely going to mean a lot to the defensive line this year. He's going to be alongside Cooper Lance playing on that interior lineman. And then Keaton Thomas, a guy that's a do-it-all linebacker for the Baylor Bears. Somebody that's going to be a big piece of this defense, really the de facto leader of that defense, honestly. That's why we asked him some of the questions we did. A lot of the guys said they enjoyed our interviews because we didn't talk about the most conventional things as you guys heard. We talked about people's favorite foods and their favorite rappers, all those kind of things as well. We got more interviews with a couple of more players from Big 12 Media Day that we'll be releasing probably the rest of those next week as we get closer and closer to football. One to build up the suspension somewhat for you guys as we get closer and closer to football. But shout out to those guys, man, for taking some time and chopping it up with us. Only a couple of minutes here left today on Centex Primetime. We'll go through a couple of quick takes while we still have some time here. For one, told you guys preseason football has started. Baltimore Ravens already up 14-3 on the Colts, and the Colts are playing both of their potential starters at quarterback already down 14-3. So y'all could tell me what y'all think that means. I'm not apples to apples, I guess, type of comparison with Daniel Jones and apples and oranges, with Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. They both bring two different things but similar things at the same time. I don't think either one of them are that good. That's just my take. But maybe that's just because I'm a Texans fan and I hope that we smash the Colts every time that we play them. But right now, not looking so good. What is looking good, LeJontay Wester, one of them Colorado boys, one of them Buffs, has been shining all training camp. For those of you that have been keeping up with the NFL training camps, he's been playing great all training camp. I've seen plays that he's made for multiple different days throughout training camp. First action here in the preseason, already took a punt back to the crib. The Buffs, man, the Buffs. Coach Prime knows where to find them. I think everybody from that receiving core outside of Will Shepherd last year is going to do some big things in the NFL. Jimmy Horn on the Panthers, I expect him to do some big things. LaJohntay Wester already doing some big things. Obviously, we know what Travis Hunter's going to do. Will Shepherd is 6'5" and can't catch. Don't have a lot of hope for him. But those other dudes on the Buffs already making a name for themselves. We've been talking all week long about Jerry Jones, his comments, what he said about what he's had to say about Michael Parsons and their back and forth. Neither one of those guys in practice today. Matter of fact, we don't know if that means both of them left Oxnard, maybe to go, I don't know, chop it up about this contract. I'm not sure if that's exactly why they're both missing from practice today, but neither one of those guys in practice. Here's a quick clip, though. We've been playing clips all week of Jerry Jones talking in the media and talking about Michael Parsons. I'm going to play this quick clip, what Jerry Jones said in their practice the other day.
I bought the Dallas Cowboys with a handshake. Took about 30 seconds, and I gave the number, shook hands. The details we worked out later. As a matter of fact, one of the details involved a lot of money, and we had to flip a coin over that. But the fundamental, I'm buying, and you're going to sell it to me for that range, that's done. And those are done with eye contact and handshake.
So was there...
So just so you understand why the way that I communicate with people that I negotiate with. So but let's leave it at that. There is no question that in the case of a player contract, you have to have it in writing. All parties do. We have a contract in writing, yet we're still talking about renegotiating it. So much for that. I bought the Dallas.
So Jerry Jones giving us his good old American wisdom. When I did the contracts, when I bought the Cowboys, it was just a handshake and eye contact. That's how you make a deal. Hey, bro, send this guy the contract, man. Can we stop with this, Jerry? Can we just stop? It's I can't say it's getting old, it's been old. Nobody wants to hear that, bro. Pay this dude what he's asking you for. We got a contract written up, but we haven't got it signed yet because he doesn't want to sign it because it's not the contract that he wants. It doesn't matter that you've got one written up. And stop with the handshakes and you trying to manipulate these dudes, bro. That's what it is. You want to communicate with Michael Parsons. You don't want to communicate with his agents and with his representatives because they're the ones that's going to know the key terminology within those contracts that you could be trying to get one over on Mike or whatever your deal is. So stop with the I want to make a hand. When I did it, we did it with a ham sandwich and a hand. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Stop it. We don't care. We don't care. Send this guy the contract, the real contract, with the numbers that he wanted for. He is the best player on your team. He's one of the best players in the NFL. You stressing him out. When Michael Parsons started the season last year, his hairline was up here. Y'all have seen the last few interviews with what's going on. That's stress. You stressing this man out. He can't even focus on football. Because you're talking about we got $20 million sitting on the sideline over there. Let's just stop it, man. We've been talking about Jerry all week. I'm hoping that this contract situation gets worked out before week one. Yesterday we talked about how he said he doesn't expect Michael Parsons to play in week one. That's a problem, Jerry. You're playing the Super Bowl champs in week one. You're playing your biggest rival in week one. You should probably get a deal done with Michael Parsons before then. But obviously, Jerry's going to do it on his own time. He's rich and he got the team. He can do whatever he wants. To breaking news out of training camp, Rashawn Slater, the left tackle, all-pro left tackle for the almost said San Diego, before the Los Angeles Chargers, out for the season. That is a huge blow to the Chargers team. Suffered a torn patellar tendon. He's going to be out for the season, out for the year after signing a 4-year, $113 million extension last month. First thing I want to say is, man, I'm glad you got your money, bro. You're one of the best tackles in the league, so I'm not, I was confident that you were going to get money regardless, but I'm glad that you got that locked up and now you can just focus on rehab and don't have to focus on contract negotiations like some people. Unfortunately, he's hurt. That's going to be a big blow to the Chargers, man. Like I said, one of the best tackles in the league. Him along with Joe Alt on the other side is one of the best tackle duos, if not the best tackle duo in the NFL. Now one half of that going to be missing again because he missed time last year with him being gone, man. So shout out to Rashawn Slater. Hopefully, we're definitely wishing you a quick recovery, and you'll be back better than ever for next season. But already out for the season. Those are the horrors of preseason that get coaches scared, man, why they don't play these guys because of stuff like that. And I think he got hurt in practice, not in the preseason game, but still, nonetheless, still hurt, man. So definitely hoping he has a speedy recovery. Big 12 basketball is going to be on NBC now and Peacock. Starting fall 2025, you can stream 20 men's hoops games every season exclusively on Peacock thanks to the brand new multi-year deal with NBC Sports. The Big 12 basketball will be on Peacock now, man. So we see everybody's these new TV deals, man. Everybody's positioning themselves. NBC is coming back in full effect. We all heard the news a few months ago of them getting Michael Jordan to be a contributor to NBC basketball. NBC basketball coming back. That's why they had to have the sad farewell for TNT Sports, because TNT ain't got the bag NBC got. NBC outbid them for basketball on the NBA side, now getting involved on the college side. And the Big 12 is one of the best conferences. Big 12 is the best conference in basketball, college basketball, to me. I know the SEC put all them teams into the tournament last year, and what did half of them do? They got smacked right away. So I know the champs, Florida, the champs, that they're coming out the SEC, but I still think the Big 12 is the best. Baylor, obviously, is a perennial powerhouse program. Then once we added guys like Arizona into that, BYU should be nice next year with A.J. DeBanster being on the team. They got some dogs in the Big 12. U of H was just in the national championship game. I still think Big 12 is the best conference. You'll be able to catch those games now on NBC. Let's talk about some over and unders, folks. Those of you that watch the show with me, I haven't done it much in the summer because I ain't going to give y'all no information on who to bet on in the summer in baseball like I know anything about baseball. Not going to pretend like I do. I know some stuff, not enough for y'all to lose your money, though. But during football season, I like to give my over and unders. I like to bring in the betting side of football because it's a side of football now, whether you guys like it or not, and it's a big part of it. These are the most bet on college football win totals so far for this upcoming season. First one, LSU 8.5 over. That's money in the bag, y'all. I'm going to go put that down. 8.5 is the win total for LSU. This LSU team coming back with Garrett Nussmeier and all the guys coming in on both sides of the ball, they shored up that secondary. LSU might win the SEC. So I think that's easy bread. Clemson over 9.5 wins. Another one, easy bread. The ACC is not good. You got Clemson, you got SMU, Miami maybe. That's it. ACC is not good. I'm definitely taking Clemson on the 9.5 over. Illinois is over 7.5. This one, I'm not sure. Illinois is bringing back, like I've talked about yesterday when we were going down the first AP coaches poll, bringing back a lot of production on both sides of the ball. Illinois is going to be a really good team. Will they get over 7.5 wins? Most likely. Nebraska over 7.5. That's the Nebraska fans putting that total over like that. I don't have no faith in Nebraska. Not saying that they're not good. I'm just saying I don't know if they're good. That 8 wins good. 6 or 7, 8 wins. I can see it. Not enough to put my bread down for. Missouri over 7.5. I have no faith in Missouri. None. They're playing in the SEC. They lost Brady Cook. They lost Luther Burden. They lost Theo Wise. No faith in the Missouri Tigers. Sorry to anybody that is a Mizzou fan. But those are some of the most bet on. Those are some of the most bet on over win totals for over and under so far in the college football season. Some more breaking news just happened out of that Indianapolis game I'm just telling you guys about. Anthony Richardson out for the rest of the game after suffering a finger injury on the second drive. Unfortunate news for the Colts. How long we got to keep doing this with Anthony Richardson, man? When you came out and made those comments and said, I think the NFL is easier than college, it's only going downhill from there. Anthony Richardson is injury prone. Anthony Richardson's not an accurate quarterback. I'm not taking a whole segment out to just dump on Anthony Richardson while he's down. But y'all know how I feel, the ones that watch the show, how I feel about Anthony Richardson, man. I don't think Anthony Richardson's that good. And he's injury prone. Daniel Jones, as I told you guys in February or March, whenever they signed him, Daniel Jones will be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. I tried to tell y'all that a couple of months ago. Now your light bulbs are coming on and you've seen what I've been seeing. Anthony Richardson not only is inconsistent in his play, but his health is always in question as well. So I definitely hope he gets healthy, man. And maybe in another system it can work out. But I think this marriage between the Colts and Anthony Richardson is about to be over, like I tried to tell y'all about a month ago. Archie Manning. Not Arch Manning, but Archie. The Saints QB. The grandpa to Arch Manning. says Arch isn't going to do all that. He'll still be at Texas when talking about declaring for the 2026 NFL Draft. I got to give a shout out to PJ, man, who's on this show all the time. He's been saying this for months, maybe even last college football season. The Arch man is not leaving after 1 year, even though everybody's saying Arch is going to come out. He's eligible to come out. I don't think he's going to come out. PJ's been saying he doesn't think he's going to come out. Now the grandpa done came out and stamped it. He ain't coming out, y'all. He's not coming out in 2026. He's probably going to come out in 2027, which is going to be a stat class. Going to have a lot of guys coming out that year as well. Arch Manning most likely going to stay. Y'all heard his grandpa say it. If his grandpa saying it, y'all definitely know that he's going to be staying there as well. Victor Wembanyama seen working out with Kevin Garnett. Now, Wemby has gone through some real training this summer, soul searching, all types of stuff. I don't seen this dude doing karate. He became a monk for like a month. He shaved his head. Now, I don't know if you qualify to be a monk because he's like 7'7", 7'6". Pretty sure that's way over the monk height. I don't know if they still live in caves and stuff like that. I don't know anything about monkism. But Victor Wembanyama probably too tall to fit in the cave. But hanging out with the cave, now you go hang out with KG to go get a workout in? Man, you just burning the candle on both ends. You go with the monks who are teaching you all type of stuff about life in general. And then you go with KG, who's going to cuss you out every second that he's talking to you. This might be an MVP season loading for Wemby. I'm just telling y'all, remember y'all heard it here first. It could be an MVP season loading for Wemby. You go from the monks to KG, and KG might be crazier than the monks. Yeah, man, this might be a MVP season loading for Victor Wembanyama. One more. Roger Goodell, the commissioner in the NFL, was on a recent panelist talk. Not sure what this was for, but he was talking about the NFL and talking about the NBA and the comparisons drawn to the two. Roger Goodell says, we are not competing with the NBA. Our competitors are Apple and Google. I said, oh, that's kind of tough, Roger. That's kind of tough. The bad thing is, he ain't lying. I love the NBA. I think the NBA overall, honestly, is a better league than the NFL. NFL is still king, man. They're not competing with the NBA. He's not lying. They're never competing with the NBA. You see what happens when they start even getting into some of the spaces that the NBA gets into. The NFL moved over now to showing games on Christmas. NBA's been showing games on Christmas my whole life. NFL dominated Christmas ratings. They're not competing with the NBA. I'm sorry, like I said, I think the NBA is an overall better league. I think their players are treated better. I think their players get paid better. It's less injury. You don't get your eggs scrambled every play. But they're not competing with them, man. The NFL is still king. Really for all sports around the world. Only thing bigger than that, probably, soccer, obviously, in places like England, Europe, South America. Soccer is definitely the biggest export. Cricket, I'd seen they had like 1 billion people or something watching when India played somebody in cricket. I don't even know how cricket works, but apparently that's really popular over there. Football is king. He's right when Roger Goodell says that. They're not competing with the NBA. They are competing with top-tier companies in America like Apple, like Google. But it was just kind of funny that he said that. Roger Goodell trying to talk his noise a little bit. But shout out to Roger Goodell and to the NFL, man. NFL preseason right here, right now. I'm going to go home and watch a couple of these games. Try to catch up on what I've missed so far, the Colts versus Baltimore. See if some of these starters still playing. Shout out to LeJontay West already bringing one to the house. Cincinnati playing Philly right now in preseason. They're up 14-7 as that one just started. Folks, we're out of time here today on Centex Primetime. I want to thank everybody that watched with us all week long here on Centex Primetime. If you haven't already, go subscribe to the YouTube. That's Centex Sports TV / Centex Sports Network over on YouTube, man. Go on there, check us out. Subscribe, like, share. Great interviews up. Those interviews we played today, we will be dropping on the YouTube as well. Lots of good content on there. Make sure you go over to our website, CentexSportsNetwork.com. Check out our website. Free subscription to get signed up. You don't want to be able to miss any of the action. I've said before, MCC is starting volleyball this year at MCC. All their other athletic programs are excellent. I expect the same thing out of volleyball. All of that action will be right here on Centex Sports Network, as well as their basketball, as well as their softball, their baseball, all those things right here on Centex Sports Network. So make sure you guys go onto the website, CentexSportsNetwork.com, and get signed up. We'll be back next week, guys, to talk some more about what we saw in week 1 of preseason. Rocky, Wayne, all the guys will be back next week, and we'll talk some more about what we got to see this past weekend. But for now, thanks everybody for watching with us today and all week long. We will see you guys next time. Everybody have a great weekend.